Hey guys, Michael and Mealey Marine. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to get sponsorship in the fishing industry, endemic, non-endemic. I think you could use these tools to help increase your odds to get sponsored, right? To help further your fishing career. I own Mealey Marine. We're an online marine parts retailer, right? And we also have a service business in the Houston location where we do marine electronics installations and outboard service, things like that. So I get quite a few requests on, hey, can you sponsor me? I'm Bubba and I fish the Tuesday Nighters. I get all sorts of requests. So I'm kind of coming from a place of a small business and how to increase your odds to get the sponsorship. So I think it's really important to define what sponsorship is. It's an agreement between two parties, right? We got the angler and we got the company. And in exchange for free product, money, whatever it may be, the angler is going to give social media posts, boat wrap, YouTube videos, branding, whatever it may be, right? So that is sponsorship, not to be confused with the word charity, which is a company giving product away for free or money away for free where they are getting nothing in return. That is called charity, and that is not the purpose of this video. If you came here to figure out a way to swindle a company out of money, this isn't it. All right, so I'm gonna tell the story about an individual who reached out to me earlier this year. I'm not gonna put his name on blast. I'm not gonna tell you what he qualified for. He might watch this video, I don't know. Anyways, this individual reached out to me. He had just qualified for a major tournament. He lived in another state, quite a few states away, not remotely close. He also didn't have any real social media presence, so let's just keep that in mind. So he reached out. He's like, hey, I qualified for this tournament. I'm requesting about $6,000 in free product, and I would like for you guys to rig the boat. Let's just say that's another $6,000. So I'm looking for about $12,000 worth of free stuff, and in exchange, you're going to be on my boat wrap and on my jersey. So I just want to touch on a couple things. First off, he was asking for free product. Free product is not free. The company loses the ability to sell that product and make a profit. And second, straight away, they're losing money. It is the same thing, in my opinion, that free product is like handing you money. It's just in a different form. Free service is not free. If a boat shop has a bunch of boats lined up of paying customers and they are rigging your boat for free, every hour that they spend is money that they're losing that they could be working on paying customers. Just come from a point of understanding that it's not free, that is an actual investment of funds. So it's not free. Second is he was not local. And he failed to convince me, after repeatedly asking him, how he was going to convince other people to drive 5 states over to get their boat rigged. It literally makes 0 sense. There's no way that I would drive that far to get my boat rigged. I have a hard time getting people to come a couple hours to get their boat rigged. I'm not saying that we don't provide the best service in all of America to get your boat rigged. You should get your boat rigged by us. But it just doesn't make any financial sense to drive that far when you could probably go somewhere closer and get a good quality service, right? So he could not convince me how he was going to get people to come. Last was no social presence. And this is really important. You have to be able to tell me how many people you reach. Who is your audience? Is your audience aligned with me? How does your audience interact with you and with your content, with your posts, all those things? That is very critical information for a small business. And if you can't provide that information, it's useless. Tournaments. I could care less about tournaments. I don't think, in my case, in my business, that what tournament trail you fish really matters. Because if you do win, it's not like people are going to flock to Mealey Marine to buy products, right? If you're reaching out to a lure company, I can see that it could matter. If you win with that lure sales spike, I know the owner of Tackle Addict, when someone wins on Rayburn in a big tournament, they say what they won it on, it sells out immediately. So, I think it depends on the company, but if you guys hear, it's a hurricane's coming. Let's just take the Conroe Classic. When Jordan Lee won it, I don't remember what he won it on, but I bet you it went out of stock. in the local area. Secondly is I don't think Legend boat sales went up because it got canned. So let's just kind of keep those things in mind. So I asked him a bunch of questions, kind of pointing these things out, trying to do his job for him and trying to elicit some kind of persuasive argument to me about how he was going to make my money back. Because guys, the whole purpose of sponsorship is to make the company money. In my case, it is. For maybe bigger brands, it's really not that big of a deal. Maybe it's more about brand awareness. But if you're reaching out to a small company, sales are king. That is all a company cares about. After asking him these questions, he started getting belligerent. How could I not understand that when he wins this huge tournament and he's lifted up the trophy, and Mealey Marine is either this big or this big, because it was unspecified for the amount of money how big my logo was going to be on any of his apparel or boat, that I was just going to get on my knees and have money rain down upon me because of him, because of his greatness in this tournament. I'm just not that naive. It's not going to happen. Like I said, I think for a lure company, sure. For a reel company, a little bit less sure. Electronics company, even a little less sure. Boat company, for sure, not going to happen. So as a company who doesn't necessarily manufacture things that help you win. So like, let's just talk about like Garmin. Like LiveScope helps you win, but the graph, not so much. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might go buy LiveScope, but you might not buy the 8616. You might buy the 126 or the 1223 or something like that, right? Something more in your budget, but you might not even buy it from me. You're gonna buy it wherever, Bass Pro, whatever. You see what I'm saying? So he just couldn't understand that. Then he got really belligerent. Told me to go F myself, that I was going to regret this decision, that I was going to look back and, I wish I had done this, blah, blah, blah. Just so you know, he didn't win. Didn't place very high. Not saying that it's not an admirable thing that he qualified, but just not a good way to handle the phone conversation. Because after I got off the phone with him, I called another company owner, which is cool, because before no one would ever answer my calls, and now that I own a business and people answer my phone calls. And he's like, I was like, do you know about this dude? He goes, yeah, stay as far away from him as possible. He's nothing but bad news. You don't want that reputation. So I want to go through a couple things, 5 key points that I think will really help you stand out when it comes to asking for sponsorship. And if you think these things through, you'll be ahead of the game. And if you remember anything from this, the 2 most important things I can tell you, write these down if you are looking to get sponsored, is first, how are you going to make the company money? Because that's all that matters. How are you going to make the money? And second is, how are you going to be able to prove that you made the money? How are you going to be trackable, right? If you can remember those 2 things, I think we're good. So first things first, you need to research the business. I have people reach out to me all the time asking for sponsorship, and they're already sponsored by whoever. You don't want a conflict of interest when it comes to sponsorship. That automatically shows me that you know nothing about me, you know nothing about my company. You've done little research. You don't care. I want you to know who our target market is. I don't just sell bass fishing stuff. I sell boat parts. There are a lot of different boats. I sell batteries. Batteries don't just go on boats. So, things to think about. How can you differentiate yourself? How can you market those things? Know their market, know their audience. How does your audience align with them? If you're in the bass fishing space, which if you're watching this video, you most likely are, like how does your audience relate to the company who's the audience of the company that you're reaching out to? Know that stuff. The second thing is to define your value proposition. So what do you have to offer them? Like your social media stats, YouTube, branding. Are you going to put on a Mealey Marine tournament? Anything. I want you to come up with ideas on how you can market that company and how those marketing campaigns can relate to sales. And you need to show who you're targeting aligns with the brand. So when delivering your value proposition, you guys need to focus on the return on investment, because that's what sponsorship is. It's an investment in you as an individual, as a brand, to help grow the company. So you need to, just like stocks, we want a return. We want a certain amount of money back. You guys need to have that information, have your trackables, be able to prove how you're going to return the money that's given to you, the free product. This is going to blow your mind. If you, for every dollar you ask for, whether a free product or money, you need to be thinking how you're going to make $10. So if you're asking for $100, you need to think how you're going to make that company $1,000. If you're asking for $1,000, you need to think how you're going to make $10,000, so on and so forth. And you guys are going to be like, man, that's crazy. Some companies might have bigger profit margins where if they have a 20% margin, they'll be fine with for every dollar they spend on you getting $5 back. So a good rule of thumb, for every dollar, try to figure out how you're going to make that company $10. Moving on, guys, be professional. The fishing industry is not a very professional industry, so just putting a little bit of effort into this, making a good sponsorship deck. If you don't know what that is, you need to Google it. Having a cover letter, doing things like that. In that, you need to be detailing your plan. You need to first start out with what you're willing to offer before you ask for what you want. If you start with what you want, you're just like everybody else. In there, again, you need to be able to have proof that you can track sales, impressions on posts, views on YouTube, subscribers, followers, all that matters. Last is provide metrics and analytics to the company. So even if it's in your contract, if it's not in your contract that you don't need to provide information, I still think it's a good thing to do. You will have somebody who's in charge of you, usually like a pro staff manager or something, sending them monthly emails, recaps, quarterly recaps. Hey, I made this many posts, this is how many impressions those posts got, this is how many clicks this link got. And if you guys don't know about this, you guys need to do some research. So most companies are going to give you something called an affiliate link, which is a clickable link to the website that the company can track. But you can also make trackable links. You need to Google, learn how to do that, and then you have evidence. You have proof that people are engaging with what you have to put out there, and just kind of brag, highlight it, right? And lastly is, if they don't respond back, follow up, but do not blow up their phone. Do not blow up their email. Nothing will deter them from sponsoring you more than just getting blasted with emails. People are very busy. People are trying to run businesses. Be respectful of their time, but it is okay to follow up. Send an email. If you don't hear back in a couple days, maybe a week, reach back out to them. And if you don't hear back from them, they're not interested. Or you did a terrible job of reaching out to them. So maybe look at ways to figure out how to know if people read your emails, things like that. And guys, always be respectful. Like in that story when that guy got belligerent with me, and that's not good. That word like that spreads in the fishing industry, and he will burn more bridges, and he'll never ever have a meaningful sponsorship. And that's what it really is. If you're looking for charity, where I hear people say things like, well, this guy got a check for $10,000 and he doesn't have to do anything. First off, I never believe a single word that comes out of a fisherman's mouth. Secondly, is if that is true, that will not last. Budgets will get cut, things will get tight, and that company will cut you instantly if that is the case. They might be doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but that can only last so long. But if you've built a meaningful relationship and actually have proof and have been building and constantly growing and making the company money, why would they cut you even in the tough times, right? If you're paying for yourself and making money, a company will never cut you no matter how hard it gets. So guys, let's just kind of recap that. You need to research the business, be aware of what they do, make sure that there's not conflict of interest. Second is define your value proposition. What are you willing to offer in return for what you're asking for? Be professional. stand out, create a good sponsorship deck, maybe make a YouTube video. I mean, sometimes you guys are asking for thousands and thousands of dollars and you can't even make like a personal email to me. You know what I'm saying? Fourth is provide metrics and analytics. Be sure you have the stats to back up what you're asking for. You should know how many followers you have. You should know how many subscribers you have. You should know your reach. You should know the impressions, all that. If you don't know that, there's tons of YouTube videos about this kind of stuff. You should look at it. And lastly is follow up, be professional, treat people the way you would want to be treated. That's how I run my business, and it's really served me well. So guys, if you do all those things, I really think you're going to increase the odds of being sponsored. The more you can demonstrate how you're going to make a company money, the better. The better chances you're going to have. The more you can convince them that you're going to make them money, the better it'll be. All this being said, guys, I want you guys to comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. You guys think I'm Looney Tunes? Do you think all I care about is the money? Should I be worried about branding? I didn't really get into that topic per se, but this is more of a direct marketing proposal for companies, which small companies, that is what they should be caring about. I can't speak for other companies. It's what I care about, and what that really means to me is for every dollar I spend, I know how much money I'm getting back. So in regards to marketing, in each channel of marketing, that's what they're called. So we have like online ads, print ads, YouTube, such and such and such. I know how much money I'm getting back from each one of those things. So I know, like, hey, this is making me a lot of money. I'm going to put more money into it. I'm going to keep feeding that beast because it's making me the most money. This over here, the return's not as good. It's going to get cut. So that's direct marketing. Branding is more about like getting the word out there, having people know the name. That's like title sponsors of the Elite Series, Bass Pro, Skeeter. That's branding. They are constantly bombarding you with it so that you remember their brand, and that in the future, when you're in the mood to purchase, that you will remember their brand. Two totally different marketing strategies, and as a small business, you usually don't have the funds to do like a big branding campaign. So comment down below, tell me what you guys think. Also, great news, if you are looking to get sponsorship, we have just started our affiliate program. I'm going to put a link down below. You just got to fill out this, I guess it's like an application. Pretty much everybody's going to get approved as long as you're not a psychopath, and it's all commission based. Which is a good way to maybe get your foot in the door with some of these companies, is just being like, hey, just put me on commission. I'll eat what I kill. And so you can earn up to 5% commission. We have different tiers, up to 8% commission on service work that you bring to the shop. So link down below, sign up. Like I said, pretty much you will be accepted as long as you are not just crazy. All right. And lastly, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Check out mealymarine.com. If you like the channel, there's ways to support it. Subscribing is one of them. And the second is buying your boat parts from us, right? So if you're looking for a live scope, if you're looking for a lithium battery, you're looking for a bilge pump, I just ask that you guys give us the opportunity to serve you and to earn your business. So that's it for today, guys. I got a hurricane coming down. I hope you liked the video. If you did, again, like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, I am going to get grumpy on here at some point in time. So, yeah.